Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a comfortable position. Perhaps you are sitting, perhaps you are lying down, perhaps you are simply going about your daily tasks with this voice as a gentle companion in your ear. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you have arrived. You have arrived in this moment, in this space, and that is enough. That is always enough. There is a reason you clicked on this video. There is a reason the title spoke to something deep within you. You are looking for something. Perhaps you call it peace. Perhaps you call it answers. Perhaps you simply call it a break from the relentless noise of your own mind. Whatever name you give it, the longing is real. It is the most real thing about you. It is your heart calling out to itself, reminding you that there is more to life than the endless cycle of striving, achieving, failing, and worrying. The Buddha, the Great Awakened One, spent his entire life after his enlightenment doing one simple thing: pointing. He didn't claim to be a god. He didn't claim to have special powers. He claimed to be someone who had woken up from a dream, and he spent 45 years simply pointing others toward the same awakening. He would say, "Look here. Look there. Do you see it? Do you see how you create your own suffering? Do you see how you can also create your own freedom?" What he pointed to was not complicated. In fact, it was so simple that most people then, and most people now, simply cannot believe it. We are trained to believe that complicated problems require complicated solutions. If we are anxious, we need a 10-step program. If we are unhappy, we need to restructure our entire lives. If we are suffering, we need to find the right therapist, the right medication, the right relationship, the right job. But what if the problem was never complicated? What if the solution was always simple, hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to notice it? Let me offer you a metaphor. Imagine you are standing in a room filled with fog. The fog is so thick you cannot see your own hand in front of your face. You cannot see the walls, you cannot see the door, you cannot see anything. You feel lost, confused, and a little frightened. You start walking, hoping to find a way out, but the fog just follows you. You bump into things. You become frustrated. You might even start to panic. Now, imagine someone tells you that the fog is not outside of you. The fog is in your eyes. It is not the room that is obscured, it is your vision. The solution, then, is not to wander endlessly through the room. The solution is to clear your own eyes. And when you do, you realize you were never lost at all. The room was always there, perfectly clear. The door was always right in front of you. You just couldn't see it because of the fog you were carrying. This is the human condition. We walk through life with foggy eyes, believing that the problem is out there, in the world, in other people, in our circumstances. We spend our entire lives trying to clear the room. The Buddha's invitation is to clear your eyes instead. To turn your attention inward. To see that the source of your suffering is not the world, but your relationship to it. This is not to say that pain does not exist. Of course it does. People get sick. Loved ones leave. Dreams crumble. Money disappears. These are real experiences, and they hurt. The Buddha never denied this. What he denied was that this pain must inevitably become suffering. He made a crucial distinction, one that modern psychology has only recently begun to fully appreciate. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Think about that for a moment. Let it land. Pain is the natural response to loss, to disappointment, to physical discomfort. It arises and, if left alone, it passes, just like every other sensation in your body. Suffering is what happens when we grab onto that pain and refuse to let it go. Suffering is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. Suffering is the wish that the pain were not there. Suffering is the resistance. If this simple shift in perspective has touched something in you, if you want to continue exploring these deep waters of wisdom with us, please consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. By subscribing, you are not just following a channel. You are making a statement to yourself that your inner peace matters. You are creating a gentle commitment to show up for yourself, again and again, as we explore these teachings together. Just click the button below, and let this be the beginning of a beautiful journey inward. Now, let us go deeper. Let us explore what it truly means to clear the fog from your eyes. And to do that, we must look at one of the most misunderstood concepts in all of Buddhist psychology, attachment. When most people hear the word attachment, they think of love. They think of caring deeply about someone or something. And they hear the Buddha say that attachment is the root of suffering, and they think, so I am not supposed to love my children? I am not supposed to enjoy my life? No. This is a misunderstanding. The Buddha was not teaching cold detachment. He was not advocating for emotional numbness. He was teaching that by understanding attachment, we can actually love more deeply than ever before. Attachment is not the same as love. Attachment is need. Attachment is clinging. Attachment is the desperate grip of a hand terrified of letting go. Love is the open hand that holds gently, that allows freedom, that is not threatened by change. Let me offer you a metaphor. Imagine you are at the beach. A child runs up to you and places a beautiful seashell in your palm. It is perfect. You hold it gently, admiring it, appreciating it fully. This is love. This is connection. Now imagine that same child tries to take the shell back. Your hand closes into a fist. You pull it toward your chest. You say, no, this is mine now. I am keeping it forever. Your knuckles turn white. The edges of the shell dig into your flesh. It hurts, but you cannot let go. This is attachment. This is suffering. The shell was never yours to keep. It was always going to return to the child, or get lost, or break. The beauty was in the moment of receiving. The moment you tried to possess it, you lost the experience entirely. This is what we do with everything in life. We receive people, experiences, and moments as gifts. They are precious. And then we try to keep them forever. We close our fists. We hold on so tight that we cannot even enjoy what we are holding anymore. We are so afraid of losing that we forget how to appreciate. And when loss comes, we are devastated not by the loss itself, but by our desperate refusal to let go. Modern psychology has a name for this. It is called experiential avoidance. We cling to people because we are afraid of loneliness. We cling to possessions because we are afraid of scarcity. We cling to our identities because we are afraid of the unknown. Every act of clinging is an act of fear. And every act of fear is a small death of the present moment. The Buddha observed this with crystal clarity. He saw that the mind is constantly grasping, constantly trying to secure itself against an uncertain future. And he saw that this very grasping creates the suffering we are trying to avoid. It is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. There is a story of a monk walking along a riverbank. He notices a scorpion trapped in the water, struggling against the current, about to drown. The monk reaches down to rescue it, but as soon as his hand touches the scorpion, it stings him. The pain is sharp. He pulls back his hand, and the scorpion continues to struggle. Without hesitation, the monk reaches down again. Again, the scorpion stings him. This happens a third time. A passerby shouts, "Why do you keep doing that? Can you not see that the scorpion will only sting you?" The monk looks at the passerby and says calmly, "It is the nature of the scorpion to sting. But it is my nature to save. Why should I let its nature change my nature?" The passerby stood silently, understanding for the first time what true strength looks like. It is not about controlling the world around you. It is about staying true to your own heart, regardless of what the world does to you. This story reveals something profound about attachment and freedom. The monk was not attached to the outcome. He did not reach down expecting gratitude. He did not reach down hoping the scorpion would be different. He reached down because it was his nature to help. When the scorpion stung him, he felt the pain, but he did not add suffering to it. He did not tell himself a story about injustice. He simply recognized that the scorpion was being a scorpion. And he continued to be himself. This is the freedom of non-attachment. It is not about not caring. It is about caring so deeply that you no longer need the world to respond in a particular way to validate your caring. You give because giving is who you are. You love because loving is your nature. What others do with your love, whether they appreciate it or sting you for it, that is their business. Your business is simply to be true to yourself. The Buddha taught that most of our suffering comes from a fundamental confusion. We do not know what is under our control and what is not. And so we spend our energy trying to control the uncontrollable, while neglecting the one thing we actually have power over. Let us look at this distinction more deeply. The Buddha offered one of the most powerful frameworks for human happiness in a single simple statement. He said, "What is under another's control is suffering. What is under your control is a blessing for your life." Everything in your life can be placed into one of two baskets. One basket contains everything that is not yours to control. The other basket contains everything that is. And the entire difference between a life of stress and a life of peace comes down to which basket you spend your time carrying. Let us look inside the first basket. The basket that is not yours. First, the past. Every regret, every mistake, every missed opportunity. You carry it everywhere. But the past is gone. It is a memory. You cannot change it. Carrying it, wishing it were different, is suffering. Second, the future. All your worries, your anxieties, your what-ifs. The future does not exist yet. It is a fantasy. And yet, how much of your peace is sacrificed to tomorrow? Third, other people. Their opinions of you. Their criticism. Their choices. None of this is yours to control. You can influence people. You can love them. But you cannot control their internal world. Trying to manage how everyone perceives you is exhausting. And it is suffering. Fourth, the circumstances of life. The weather. The economy. The traffic. These are conditions. They are not personal. They are just happening. Raging against them is like shouting at the rain. The rain does not care. Your resistance is what creates your misery. Now, put that heavy basket down. Feel the relief. This is what happens when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Now let us look at the second basket. The basket that is yours. The basket the Buddha calls a blessing. What is in here? Your own responses. Someone triggers you. Anger arises. You cannot always control that initial spark. But the choice to fuel that spark into rage. The choice to speak harsh words, to hold a grudge. That choice is in your basket. That is yours. Your own actions. What you do with your body, your speech, and your mind in this present moment. The kindness you choose to offer. The words you choose to say. This is your basket. This is where your power lives. Your own thoughts. You cannot always control which thoughts pop into your head. But you can control which thoughts you engage with. A thought enters like a stranger knocking. You are not required to invite them in. The choice of which thoughts to believe, that is in your basket. Your own intentions. What is the motivation behind your action? Is it coming from fear? Or from love? Cultivating wholesome intentions is entirely within your control. There was once an elderly woman who lived in a small village. Every morning, she would walk to the river with 2 pots hanging from a pole across her shoulders. One pot was perfect. The other pot had a crack, and by the time she reached home, half its water had leaked out. For years, the cracked pot felt ashamed. It apologized one day. "I am so sorry," it said. "My crack ruins your efforts." The woman smiled. "Have you not noticed the flowers growing on your side of the path?" she asked. "I planted seeds on your side because I knew you would water them every day. Because of you, I have flowers to decorate my home." The cracked pot realized that what it saw as a flaw was actually a gift. It had been watering flowers for years without knowing it. The pot could not control its crack. That was its condition. But it could control how it responded. For years, it chose shame. That was suffering. When it saw the truth, it chose gratitude. That was freedom. A master woodcarver received a block of rare wood with a large, dark knot through its center. His apprentice said, "This wood is ruined. The knot will destroy the statue." The master said nothing. He began to work. Instead of avoiding the knot, he studied it. He incorporated it into his design. When the statue was finished, the apprentice gasped. The knot had become the centerpiece. It was the most beautiful part of the entire work. The master said, "The knot was not in my control. But how I worked with it was." The masterpiece was created because of the knot, not despite it. We all have knots. They are not in our basket. But how we work with them, how we incorporate them into our lives, that is always in our control. A fisherman set out on a calm morning. Without warning, a fierce storm descended. Waves crashed over his boat. He fought for hours to survive. When the storm passed, he was far from shore, his nets lost, his boat damaged. As he journeyed back, he noticed something strange. The storm had churned up the ocean floor. Fish that usually stayed deep were swimming near the surface. The storm that had almost destroyed him had brought him to the richest fishing grounds he had ever seen. The storm was not in his control. It came without warning. It took his nets. But his response, his willingness to keep going, his openness to seeing what the storm had revealed, that was in his control. And that response turned disaster into gift. We cannot control the storms. But we can control whether we let them sink us or whether we let them show us something new. Now we arrive at one of the most challenging teachings of the Buddha. It is a teaching that goes against everything our modern world tells us. It is the teaching on fairness. We are raised with this idea that the world should be fair. Good things should happen to good people. Bad things should happen to bad people. Effort should be rewarded. Kindness should be reciprocated. This belief is so deeply ingrained that when reality violates it, we feel betrayed. We feel a deep sense of personal injustice. And we get stuck. The Buddha looked at this and said something radical. He said that expecting the world to be fair is a setup for suffering. He observed that the world runs on cause and effect, not on moral justice. A tsunami does not ask if the people on the shore were kind. A virus does not check someone's moral record before infecting them. A drunk driver does not only crash into people who deserve it. The world is a complex web of countless causes and conditions. It was never designed to be fair to any single individual. Expecting it to be so is like expecting the ocean to be calm because you want to go swimming. The ocean has its own nature. It does not consult your preferences. This is not cynicism. This is realism. And realism is the only solid foundation for peace. There was once a farmer who tended his fields with great care. He woke before dawn. He worked until sunset. He treated his soil with respect, his plants with attention, his workers with kindness. By any measure, he was a good farmer and a good man. The season promised a bountiful harvest. His crops were the healthiest in the region. His neighbors admired his success. Then, one night, a hailstorm came. It lasted only 20 minutes. When the sun rose, his fields were destroyed. Months of work, gone. His neighbor, a lazy farmer who barely tended his land, had planted a different crop. The hailstorm missed his fields entirely. He harvested abundantly that year while the good farmer had nothing. The good farmer sat at the edge of his ruined field. He could have raged at the sky. He could have cursed the unfairness. He could have fallen into bitterness and despair. And no one would have blamed him. Instead, he took a deep breath. He looked at the destroyed crops. He looked at the sky. He said to himself, "The storm did not ask me if I was a good farmer. It was just a storm. This is my reality now. Given this reality, what is the wisest action I can take?" He used his savings to buy new seeds. He borrowed tools from neighbors. He planted a fast-growing crop for the late season. He did not recover everything he lost. But he recovered enough to feed his family and plant again the next year. His neighbor, the lazy farmer, grew wealthy from his unexpected fortune. But he also grew arrogant and careless. Within a few years, he had squandered everything. The good farmer, through steady effort and wise choices, gradually built back his farm stronger than before. The storm was not fair. It did not reward the good farmer or punish the lazy one. But the good farmer's response to the storm, his refusal to add suffering to his pain, his willingness to work with reality instead of against it, that was his true harvest. That was his freedom. Two travelers were crossing a vast desert. They had prepared carefully, packing enough water for the journey. But along the way, one traveler's water skin developed a small leak. Drip by drip, his water disappeared into the sand. He noticed the leak immediately. He could have panicked. He could have blamed the merchant who sold him the water skin. He could have cursed his bad luck. Instead, he assessed his situation calmly. He had lost half his water. He still had half remaining. He calculated the distance remaining and realized he did not have enough. His companion, whose water skin was intact, offered to share. But they both knew that sharing would mean both might run out before reaching the end. They faced a difficult choice. The traveler with the leak said to his companion, "You go ahead. Travel quickly. Reach the oasis and send help back for me. I will conserve my remaining water and wait." His companion hesitated. "But what if I do not make it in time? What if something happens to me?" The traveler smiled. "Then I will have done what I could with what I had. Go now. Do not waste time worrying about what might happen." The companion traveled fast and reached the oasis. He sent help back. The waiting traveler was found weak but alive, sitting exactly where he said he would be, his remaining water finished only hours before. When asked how he stayed calm during the waiting, he said, "I could not control the leak. I could not control how fast help would come. But I could control my fear. I could control my choices. I did what I could with what I had. The rest was not up to me." This is the wisdom of the Buddha in action. The leak was not fair. The situation was not ideal. But he did not waste his energy on the unfairness. He used his energy on what was actually in his control. And that made all the difference. Now we come to perhaps the most challenging teaching of all. The Buddha said that escaping from the bonds of attachment and expectation is one of the hardest tasks a human being can undertake. Why? Because we have spent our entire lives weaving these bonds. They feel like safety. Letting go feels like falling into an abyss. Think of it like this. You are a spider. You spin a beautiful web. This web is your world. It is your identity, your relationships, your possessions, your beliefs. You sit in the center, feeling secure. Every strand connects you to something you think you need. Then life happens. The wind blows. A strand breaks. Your reputation is questioned. You rush to repair it. You become a slave to the web. Your entire well-being depends on every strand remaining intact. The Buddha's invitation is to remember that you are not just the spider. You are also the vast space in which the web is suspended. The web can shake. Strands can break. The whole thing can collapse. But the space remains untouched. The space does not need the web to be intact to be at peace. This is the ultimate freedom. It is about living in the world, with all its joys and sorrows, but not being owned by it. It is about holding your life lightly, with an open hand, ready to receive and ready to let go. There was once a woman who had built a beautiful life. She had a loving family, a successful career, a home filled with memories. Then, in a single year, she lost almost everything. Her husband died suddenly. She lost her job. She developed a chronic illness. For weeks, she struggled with despair. She asked over and over, "Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" Then one morning, she realized something. The questions she was asking had no answers. She could spend the rest of her life asking why, or she could start asking a different question. She asked herself, what is still here? Her children were still here. Her hands were still here. Her breath was still here. Her eyes could still see beauty. She began to focus on what was still here instead of what was gone. It did not erase her grief. The grief remained. But the grief no longer defined her entire existence. She started a small garden. She volunteered at a local school. She built a new life. The old life was gone. But she was still here. And being here, she discovered, was enough. She learned that attachment to how things should be is suffering. When she let go of the script, she found that she was still standing. The space that held her was still there. A monk lived simply in a small forest hut. He owned almost nothing, a robe, a bowl, a mat. He was content. One day, the king visited and offered a magnificent gift, a golden bowl encrusted with jewels. The monk accepted it gracefully and placed it on a stump outside his hut. That evening, a poor traveler passed by, saw the golden bowl, grabbed it, and disappeared. The next morning, the king returned. He wanted to see the bowl. The monk pointed to the stump. It was there, he said. But a traveler passed by last evening. He seemed to need it more than I do. The king was astonished. But that bowl was worth a fortune. The monk smiled. I lived comfortably before the bowl arrived. I live comfortably now that it is gone. What did I lose? A golden object that was never mine to keep. It came. It went. That is the nature of all things. My peace was never in the bowl. It was in here. He placed his hand on his heart. The king understood that he was in the presence of true freedom. This monk did not reject the gift. He received it with gratitude. But he did not cling to it. When it left, he let it go. His peace was dependent on nothing at all. A renowned calligrapher was commissioned by the emperor to create a special piece. The finest brush, the rarest ink, the most precious silk were provided. He put brush to silk. But his hand trembled. The line was imperfect. He tried again. His hand shook. The pressure was immense. His attachment to perfection was paralyzing him. Finally, he stopped. He asked for simple paper instead. The emperor agreed. He took the plain paper, the same brush, the same ink. He took a breath, and without hesitation, painted a stroke of such beauty it took the emperor's breath away. What changed? His attachment changed. On the silk, he was painting for the emperor, for his reputation. On the paper, he was just painting. The act itself was the only goal. In that moment of non-attachment, true mastery flowed through him. This is the paradox. It is by letting go that we gain everything. When we are not paralyzed by the fear of mistakes, we can create. When we are not terrified of losing love, we can love more deeply. When we are not desperate for approval, we can be our authentic selves. Now we arrive at the heart of the Buddha's teaching. It is a teaching that can transform your life if you let it. It is the teaching on the nature of reality itself. The Buddha observed that everything in existence shares three characteristics. He called them the three marks of existence. Understanding these marks is like putting on glasses after years of blurry vision. Suddenly, you see clearly why things are the way they are. And in that clarity, peace becomes possible. The first mark is impermanence. Everything changes. The body you had as a child is gone. The friends you had in school have scattered. The thoughts you had this morning have vanished. The mountain erodes. The river flows. The star burns out. Nothing stays the same for even a single moment. We know this intellectually. But we live as if it were not true. We build our lives on the assumption that things will last. We are shocked when they don't. We are devastated when change comes. The Buddha invites us to stop being surprised by the one thing that is absolutely certain. Change is not a tragedy. It is simply the nature of things. The second mark is unsatisfactoriness. Because things are impermanent, they cannot provide lasting satisfaction. The ice cream melts. The vacation ends. The new car gets scratched. The relationship hits rough patches. This is not a flaw in the universe. It is simply the way conditioned things work. They arise, they exist for a time, and they pass away. Clinging to them for lasting happiness is like trying to build a house on shifting sand. The third mark is not self. This is the most misunderstood. The Buddha was not saying you do not exist. He was saying that what you call self is not a fixed, permanent, independent entity. It is a process. It is a flowing collection of changing parts: body, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, consciousness. These parts arise and pass away constantly. There is no unchanging you behind them. A man stood on the bank of a wide river. He needed to cross, but there was no bridge. So he built a raft. He gathered logs, bound them together, and constructed a strong, reliable raft. He climbed onto it and paddled across. Halfway across, he looked back at the shore he had left. He felt a pang of sadness. That shore held memories. He looked ahead at the new shore. He felt anxiety. Would it be safe? Would he find what he needed? Then he looked down at the raft beneath him. And he realized something. The raft was carrying him. It was serving its purpose. It did not need to be permanent. It did not need to be perfect. It just needed to get him across. When he reached the other side, he climbed off the raft. He could have picked it up and carried it on his back for the rest of his journey. But that would have been foolish. The raft had served its purpose. He left it on the shore and walked on, lighter and free. The Buddha said his teachings are like that raft. They are for crossing over, not for holding on to. Use them to cross the river of suffering. But do not carry them on your back once you have reached the other side. A sculptor lived in a village high in the mountains. Every winter, he would carve magnificent statues from the ice that formed on the frozen lake. His statues were famous throughout the region. People traveled for days to see them. One year, a traveler came and watched the sculptor work. He saw the beautiful figure emerging from the ice. He asked, "How long will this statue last?" The sculptor smiled. "Until the spring thaw," he said. "When the warm winds come, it will melt and return to the lake." The traveler was confused. "Then why do you create it? Why pour your heart into something so temporary?" The sculptor continued carving as he spoke. "The flowers bloom in spring and die in winter. Do you ask why they bloom? The sun rises and sets every day. Do you ask why it rises? Creation is its own purpose. Beauty does not need to last forever to be beautiful. This statue will melt. But the joy of creating it, the joy others feel when they see it, that is real. That is enough." The traveler stood silently, watching the sculptor work. And in that moment, he understood something he had never understood before. Life is not about making things last. It is about showing up fully for each moment, creating beauty where you can, and letting it go when it is time. This is the wisdom of impermanence. It is not depressing. It is liberating. If nothing lasts forever, then every moment is precious. Every connection is a gift. Every experience is unique. You do not need to hold on. You just need to be present. Now we explore what happens when we truly internalize these teachings. When we understand what is in our control and what is not. When we release our demand for fairness. When we loosen our grip on attachment. When we accept impermanence. What then? Then we begin to live from a different place. We live from what the Buddha called the unconditioned. This is the part of us that is not affected by the changing conditions of life. It is the awareness in which all experiences arise and pass away. It is the sky that holds the weather without being touched by it. Modern psychology has a name for this. It is called the observing self. It is the part of you that can watch your thoughts without becoming them. It is the part that notices your anger but does not become angry about being angry. It is the part that feels sadness but knows that sadness is not all of you. Cultivating this observing self is the heart of mindfulness practice. It is not about emptying your mind. It is about changing your relationship to whatever is in your mind. It is about moving from being lost in a movie to being the one who watches the movie, knowing it is just a movie. A woman came to a meditation teacher with a problem. "My mind will not be still," she said. "Thoughts keep coming. Worries, memories, plans, fears. They never stop. I have tried everything to make them stop. They will not stop. What should I do?" The teacher smiled and led her to the bank of a small river. They sat down on the grass and watched the water flow past. Leaves floated by. Twigs. Bubbles. The occasional fish jumped. The teacher said, "Watch the river. Does it ever stop flowing?" "No," she said. "It keeps moving. It never stops." Now imagine you jumped into that river and tried to stop it with your hands. What would happen? "I would be swept away," she said. "I would drown." The teacher nodded. Your mind is like this river. Thoughts will flow. They have always flowed. They will always flow. You cannot stop them. But you do not have to jump in. You can sit on the bank and watch them pass. You can see them come. You can see them go. You can let them flow without being swept away. The woman sat silently, watching the river. For the first time, she understood. The problem was not the thoughts. The problem was jumping into them. The solution was not stopping the river. The solution was learning to stay on the bank. There was once a musician who played the flute. She was talented, but she struggled with performance anxiety. Before every concert, her mind would fill with fears. What if I make a mistake? What if they do not like me? What if I forget the notes? These thoughts were so loud that she could barely hear her own music. They distracted her. They made her hands shake. They took her out of the present moment. One day, an old master heard her play. After the concert, he came backstage. "You have great skill," he said. "But you are missing something essential." She asked what it was. He said, "You are fighting the silence. You think the silence is your enemy. You try to fill it, to conquer it, to prove yourself against it. But the silence is not your enemy. The silence is your home. The notes come from the silence and return to the silence. If you can learn to love the silence, the notes will play themselves." She did not understand at first. But she practiced what he taught. She sat in silence before playing. She welcomed it. She rested in it. And when she finally played, something shifted. The notes arose from the silence like waves from the ocean. They were not separate from it. They were expressions of it. Her anxiety dissolved. Not because she controlled her thoughts, but because she had found a deeper home. She was no longer just the notes, the thoughts, the performance. She was also the silence from which everything came. This is the unconditioned. This is the awareness that holds all experience. Thoughts come and go from it. Feelings come and go from it. Sensations come and go from it. But it remains. It is always there, always peaceful, always home. You do not need to create this awareness. It is already here. It is what is listening to these words right now. It is what notices when your mind wanders. It is what feels the breath entering and leaving your body. It has never been touched by any of your problems. It has never been damaged by any of your losses. It has never been stained by any of your mistakes. This is your true nature. This is what the Buddha pointed to. And realizing this, even for a moment, is the beginning of true freedom. Now we arrive at the final stretch of our journey together. We have covered so much ground. We have explored attachment and the two baskets. We have looked at fairness and impermanence. We have touched the unconditioned awareness that is our true home. Now we must ask, how do we live from this place? How do we take these teachings out of the realm of ideas and into the reality of our daily lives? The Buddha did not teach philosophy for its own sake. He taught a path of practice. A path of training the mind, just as an athlete trains the body. It is one thing to understand that thoughts are just thoughts. It is another thing entirely to live that understanding when someone insults you, when you receive frightening news, when you lie awake at 3 a.m. with worries circling like vultures. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires repetition. It requires patience. It requires kindness toward yourself when you forget, when you fall back into old habits, when you find yourself once again trying to control the uncontrollable. There was once a man who lived by the sea. Every day, he would wake up, walk to the shore, and look at the waves. And every day, he would feel frustrated. The waves were uneven. They rose and fell without any order. Some were large, some were small. They crashed at irregular intervals. It was chaos. He decided to fix this. He brought a huge hammer and a chisel to the shore. He waited for a wave to rise, and he tried to chisel it down to the level of the others. But the wave just flowed through his chisel. He tried to build walls to contain them. The waves washed over them. He tried to dig channels to organize them. The waves ignored his channels. Day after day, he fought the ocean. He grew exhausted, frustrated, and bitter. The ocean, of course, remained exactly as it had always been. One day, an old fisherman watched him from a distance. Finally, the fisherman approached. "What are you doing?" he asked. The man explained his mission to flatten the waves, to bring order to the chaos. The fisherman laughed gently. "Young man," he said, "the ocean has been doing this for millions of years. It does not need your help. It does not need your fixing. It does not need your control. The only thing that needs to change is your relationship to it. You can spend your life fighting the waves, or you can learn to swim in them. You can curse the tides, or you can learn to sail with them. The ocean will not change. But you can." The man stood still, the hammer falling from his hand. In that moment, he saw his whole life differently. He had been fighting an enemy that did not exist. He had been trying to fix something that was not broken. He sat down on the sand and watched the waves. For the first time, he noticed their beauty. He noticed how the sunlight sparkled on each crest. He noticed the rhythm beneath the apparent chaos. He noticed the vastness, the power, the peace of the ocean itself. He never picked up the hammer again. This is the path. Life will continue to bring waves. Some are small and gentle. Some are massive and terrifying. Some come one after another. Some leave long pauses of calm. You cannot flatten the waves. You cannot control the ocean. But you can learn to swim. You can learn to float. You can learn to rest in the deep water beneath the surface, where the waves do not reach. A young boy lived in a village near a river. Every spring, the snow melted in the mountains, and the river swelled. Some years, it flooded. The villagers built walls to hold it back. They dug channels to redirect it. They prayed to the gods to spare them. One year, the rains came earlier than expected. The river rose faster than anyone had ever seen. The walls began to crumble. The channels overflowed. Panic spread through the village. The boy watched the chaos. Then he did something strange. He walked away from the village, away from the walls and the channels, away from the panic. He walked upstream, toward the mountains, following the river to its source. He walked for 2 days. Finally, he arrived at a high mountain lake, surrounded by snow. The lake was calm. The water was clear. He sat beside it and watched. He saw the snow melt, drop by drop, feeding the lake. He saw the lake overflow gently at one edge, starting the long journey down the mountain. He stayed there for a day, 2 days, 3 days. He watched the source. He saw that the river was not an enemy. It was not trying to destroy the village. It was simply doing what rivers do, flowing, seeking the sea, following the pull of gravity and the shape of the land. When he returned to the village, the flood had subsided. The people were rebuilding. They asked him where he had gone. He told them about the lake, about the snowmelt, about the source. One elder asked, "Why did you go? What good did it do?" The boy said, "I went to understand. I wanted to see where the water comes from, not just where it goes. I wanted to know the river, not just fight it. And now I know. The river is not our enemy. It is just water, finding its way home. We cannot stop it. But we can learn where it flows. We can build our homes where it does not reach. We can live with it instead of against it. This is the wisdom of the Buddha. Do not just fight your thoughts and emotions. Go upstream. Find their source. See where they come from. Understand them. And in that understanding, you will find a new way to live with them, a way that does not require constant battle. And so we come to the end of our time together. We have traveled far. We have sat with the Buddha's wisdom. We have explored the nature of attachment, the two baskets, the illusion of fairness, the reality of impermanence. We have touched the unconditioned awareness that is your true home. We have heard stories of monks and farmers, of sculptors and musicians, of ordinary people finding freedom in the midst of ordinary lives. Now the question is, what next? How do you take all of this with you when this voice fades and you return to the noise of your daily life? The Buddha's final words to his disciples were simple and profound. He said, "Be a lamp unto yourselves. Do not look outside for salvation. Do not wait for someone else to fix you. Do not expect the world to change to suit your preferences. The light you are seeking is within you. It has always been within you. It is the awareness that has been listening to these words. It is the peace that is present the moment you stop grasping. It is the love that you are, underneath all the stories of who you think you are. The path does not end here. It begins here. Every moment is an opportunity to practice. Every interaction is a chance to remember. Every difficulty is a teacher. Every joy is a reminder of what is possible. There is a story of a young monk who had studied with his master for many years. He had learned the teachings. He had memorized the scriptures. He had practiced meditation diligently for hours each day. One morning, he approached his master with a troubled heart. "Master, I have learned so much. I have practiced so hard. But I still do not feel free. I still feel the same anxieties, the same frustrations, the same restlessness. What am I missing?" The master said nothing. He simply continued drinking his tea, watching the steam rise from the cup. The young monk waited patiently. Still the master said nothing. The silence grew long and uncomfortable. Finally, the master put down his cup and looked directly at the young monk. "When you eat," he said, "eat. When you walk, walk. When you sit, sit. When you drink tea, drink tea. Do not philosophize about drinking tea while you are drinking tea. Do not think about enlightenment while you are washing your bowl. Just wash your bowl. Just drink your tea. Just breathe your breath. The young monk was confused. But Master, I already do these things. I eat every day. I walk to the village. I sit in meditation. I drink tea with you every morning. The Master smiled gently. You do them, he said. But are you present for them? Or is your mind somewhere else, planning, worrying, rehearsing conversations, regretting the past, chasing the future? When you eat, are you really eating? Or are you thinking about the next thing? When you walk, are you really walking? Or are you already at your destination, missing the journey entirely? The young monk sat in silence, letting the words sink in. The Master continued. Freedom is not somewhere else. It is not in another teaching, another meditation technique, another monastery. It is here, in this cup of tea, in this breath, in this moment. If you are not here, you will never find it, no matter how far you travel or how hard you practice. The young monk looked down at his own cup. He picked it up. He felt its warmth. He smelled the tea. He took a sip and tasted it fully for the first time in years. And in that simple act, he understood. A woman had spent her entire life searching. From a young age, she felt something was missing, some essential piece she needed to find. So she searched. She traveled to distant countries, collecting wisdom from every culture. She studied with famous teachers in the mountains and in the cities. She read countless books, filling her mind with philosophies and techniques. She collected spiritual experiences like others collect possessions. Still, something was missing. Still, she felt incomplete. The peace she sought remained just out of reach, always one more teaching away, one more journey away, one more experience away. Years passed. She grew weary of searching. Finally, exhausted and disillusioned, she gave up. She had no more energy for the quest. She returned to her childhood home, the small town she had left so many years ago, believing it held nothing for her. She sat in the garden where she had played as a girl. The same trees she had climbed still stood, taller now, but familiar. The same sun warmed her skin. The same birds sang the same songs. She closed her eyes and let herself simply be there, not seeking, not striving, not searching. And in that moment, something shifted. Something she had been chasing across the world arrived without her chasing it. A deep peace settled over her, not as an experience to be grasped, but as the background of all experience, always present, always available. She opened her eyes and looked at the garden. It was the same garden. She was the same woman. But everything was different. She realized she had been searching for something she had never lost. She had been trying to find her way home, but she had never left. The treasure was in her own pocket all along, hidden in plain sight, waiting for her to stop looking somewhere else and simply notice what was already here. She laughed at herself. All those years. All those journeys. All that effort. And the answer had been waiting in this garden, in this breath, in this heart, patiently waiting for her to come home. This is the invitation for you. The peace you seek is not in the next video, the next book, the next relationship, the next achievement, the next spiritual experience. It is here, now, in this moment. It is in the breath entering and leaving your body. It is in the awareness reading these words. It is in the space between your thoughts, the silence between the sounds. You do not need to become anything other than what you already are. You do not need to go anywhere other than where you already are. You just need to wake up to what has always been true. You just need to stop searching long enough to notice what has been here all along. The Buddha compared this to a person standing in a pool of clear water, dying of thirst, not knowing they are standing in water. You are standing in the water of awareness. You are bathing in it every moment. It is your true nature. You have only forgotten. So remember now. Remember as you go about your day. Remember when challenges arise. Remember when peace visits. Remember when suffering knocks. Come back to this moment, to this breath, to this awareness. It is always here. It is always home. Thank you for spending this time here at Monk's Temple. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your willingness to explore these depths with an open heart. It has been an honor to share this space with you. May the peace you have touched here grow in your heart. May it spread to everyone you meet, every life you touch. May it become the ground from which you live every moment of your life, not as an idea, but as your living reality. Go now, and be a lamp unto yourself. The path is yours. The freedom is yours. It always has been, and it always will be. Until we meet again, take care of that precious light within you. It is the most valuable thing you will ever possess.